Is she the hottest ticket in women's tennis at the moment? Without a doubt. Greater than. I mean, is she a bigger deal than Sabalenka? Bigger than Coco? Dude, it's nuts. What she's doing is just like what Sika did to the men's side last year down in Miami. It's like Fana, but I honestly think it's even bigger. It is. You're right, it is. The crowds for her in Doha last week were just absolutely insane. Yeah, exactly. She's a must-watch player for sure. Not just because she's incredible, but for the vibe alone. You have to tune into her matches just to feel the energy on that court. You have to think there's a bit of jealousy coming from some of the other women you know, seeing this new girl show up. She isn't even in the top 10 and she's the biggest star on the planet. Sam Querrey is sounding off right now. And when a guy like Sam Querrey decides to speak, the entire world of tennis stops to listen. Because his isn't just some random opinion being tossed around online. We're talking about a man who battled for years at the absolute peak of professional tennis. Someone who gets the game from the inside, not the outside. A guy who knows exactly what it takes to make it on the tour. And someone who has seen with his own two eyes what true star power feels like when it steps into the building. And at this moment, Sam Querrey is focused on one player and one player alone. He's pointing directly at Alex Eala and stating with zero hesitation that she is now the single biggest attraction heading into the next series of WTA events. He didn't say she's one of the biggest or among the top draws. He said she is the biggest. Period. And Querrey isn't saying this on the quiet. He's not whispering it in some back room hoping no one overhears him. He is going all in on this. He's laying his cards on the table for the whole world to see and practically begging someone to argue with him. He is flat out declaring that Alex Eala has achieved a level of star power that elevates her above everyone else. That she's in a league of her own when it comes to the buzz and hype she creates every time she walks on the court. And if that take wasn't scorching hot enough for you, Querrey and the chorus of experts jumping into this conversation are pushing it even further. They are claiming that Eala is on a path to outshine even the great Aryna Sabalenka when it comes to drawing in fans. Just let that sink in for a second. Sabalenka is the world number one. We're talking about a multi-time Grand Slam winner. She is easily one of the most powerful and well-known athletes in the entire sport today. And yet these insiders are looking at the scene and coming to the conclusion that when the goal is to pack a stadium, to create that absolutely electric feeling in the air, and to make fans feel like they are witnessing something they cannot afford to miss. Alex Eala is already playing on a whole other level. If she ever wins a slam, it will be one of the biggest stories in sports, period. Yeah, you're right. She is absolutely someone you have to watch. I mean, obviously because her game is amazing, but you watch for the atmosphere. You just have to tune in to see what that scene is like down on the court. There has to be some resentment, maybe just a little from the other players. Querrey's whole point isn't based on some gut feeling or hopeful prediction. It's based on the reality of what's happening at these tournaments week in and week out. The numbers don't spin the story. The crowds tell you everything. The second Alex Eala's match is announced, you can feel a change. The entire atmosphere just shifts. People who weren't even planning on coming are suddenly scrambling to find a way to get a ticket. If you have a ticket to one of her matches, you're talking about it for days beforehand. Fans are flying in from literally all over the world, crossing entire continents, just to be in the same arena as this young woman from the Philippines and see her play. The kind of magnetic pull she has on a court is something you just can't manufacture or copy. It's completely organic. And Querrey is making it crystal clear that none of the top-ranked players on the tour at the moment, and that includes the world number one, are creating that same level of excitement. He went so far as to suggest that some of the top 10 players on the WTA Tour are probably seeing the scenes surrounding Eala and feeling some type of way about it. He's referring to players like Sabalenka. These are women who've dedicated their whole lives to get to the very top of their sport. Women who've captured the biggest titles in tennis, and he's implying that this wave of hype following Eala might be something they've definitely noticed and can't just brush aside. That's a huge thing to say. But Querrey said it anyway because it's the undeniable truth of what's happening in the world of tennis right now. Is she the biggest draw in women's tennis at this moment? Yes. Is she a bigger draw than Sabalenka? Is she a bigger draw than Coco? Dude, it is wild. She's creating the same kind of buzz that Fonseca was on the men's side in Miami last year. It's like Fonseca, but I actually think it's even bigger than that. It is. Yeah, it really is. The crowds in Doha for her last week were just unbelievable. The wider circle of experts involved in this discussion are pushing it even further, speculating on what Eala might accomplish this year. They are throwing their full support behind her after the incredible leap she's made in the rankings. They're making the case that if Alex Eala actually wins a Grand Slam in 2025, it would go down as the single most significant moment in professional tennis in recent history. Not just for the Philippines, and not just for Asian tennis, but for the entire sport on a global scale. They're claiming it would be an event remembered for decades, the sort of defining moment that changes the whole story and inspires a brand new generation of fans who will look back and say that was the point when everything shifted. That is a monumental claim. And the fact that highly respected voices in the tennis community are the ones making it tells you everything you need to know about how seriously they're taking Ayala's potential. Now, this is where the narrative gets even more fascinating, because it's not just the analysts and the commentators fueling this conversation. The players themselves are starting to weigh in. Jessica Pegula, a top-tier competitor on the WTA Tour with years of experience playing at the sport's highest level, recently shared what it was like for her when she went up against Eala at the Miami Open last year. And her description was nothing short of incredible. Pegula said she stepped onto the court for that match and was absolutely blown away by what she saw. She wasn't expecting it. She hadn't braced herself for the kind of atmosphere that was building inside that stadium. The energy was off the charts. The crowd was massive, fired up and deafeningly loud, and they were hanging on every single point. Pegula called it insane, and she meant that in the best way imaginable. She wasn't complaining about the environment. She was in awe of it. She was standing there, soaking in that atmosphere and realizing she was part of something truly special. Pegula got very specific with what she said next. She made it a point to say that it didn't matter if it was Miami. From the Australian Open to Dubai, Alex Eala pulls in bigger crowds and more support than literally any other player on the tour. The sheer number of fans she draws is something no one else is even close to right now. People will travel across continents for her. Fans will wait in lines that snake around the block far longer than for a typical match, all for the slim chance of getting a seat to see her play. That kind of star power. That sort of profound, authentic, and emotionally deep connection between an athlete and their fans is the holy grail that tennis has been trying to manufacture in new markets for years. And here's Alex Eala delivering it naturally without any corporate marketing machine behind her, powered simply by her incredible talent, her magnetic personality, and her amazing story. She has, performed really well and proven she's a force to be reckoned with on the tour. And everyone comes out to root for her. I think we got a clear picture of that in Australia when things got completely out of hand. They scheduled her on a court that was way too small. And then Novak Djokovic threw his voice into the mix. We're talking about the man who holds more Grand Slam titles than anyone in the history of the sport. A guy who has seen and done everything in professional tennis for more than 20 years. Djokovic came forward and declared Alex Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever seen. He stated that she has earned every bit of respect and recognition the game can possibly give her. He also got specific about how her scheduling and court placements have been handled across different tournaments, signaling that he feels she hasn't been treated in a way that reflects her true status and her power to draw a crowd. When a voice like Djokovic's speaks, the entire world of tennis stops to listen. This is no longer just some chatter among fans. This is the greatest of all time. Taking a stand and saying that Alex Eala deserves better and the sport needs to start giving her the respect she's earned. With Alexa, that has been a point of conversation. And it makes sense. You have players coming from their home countries like her from the Philippines, and it becomes a huge story. She is the biggest tennis player to ever come from there, and that's a big country with a huge interest. So things like this are bound to happen. I mean, you could make the case that it was poor planning, and sure, maybe they could have put her on a bigger court. But then again, she is so young and just now hitting her stride. Now the analysts are starting to put all these pieces together, and they're all coming to one undeniable conclusion about her raw star power. About the incredible number of fans Alex Eala brings in from every part of the world. She is on a whole other level that not even Aryna Sabalenka has reached. And that's not to take anything away from what Sabalenka has accomplished on the court. She's a world-class champion without a doubt. But what the analysts are pointing out is the difference between winning trophies and having the kind of cultural and commercial power that can actually transform a sport and bring in waves of new fans. And by that metric, they're saying Alex Eala is in a class all by herself right now. Sam Querrey might have kicked off this discussion, but it has exploded into something way beyond just one person's opinion. The other players are saying it, the legends are saying it, the pundits are saying it, and the massive crowds that follow Alex Eala everywhere are shouting it louder than anyone. The biggest draw in tennis. That's exactly what she has become. And the way things were escalating all around her left no doubt this was only the opening act.